up dreaming of being a cowboy and loving the cowboy way.
Hi, welcome everybody. All I want to do today is just get you people feeling comfortable about working with veterinarians. I apologize for some of my comrades out there in veterinary medicine that have not embraced holistic medicine, and you're going to come across them for sure. And so I want to try and find ways that you can develop a relationship with veterinarians and let them feel comfortable about it. So if a client comes to you, first of all, if they already have had x-rays or ultrasounds and so on, you may not be able to get a hold of them, but the owner of the horse has the right to have those, and they can get them. So I've had people that have got the x-rays and the ultrasounds and they've sent them to me. I'm not a board-certified radiologist, and sometime I will get permission to go and send it to a board-certified radiologist that can give me a really good diagnosis. And the thing is, you'll have to go through a veterinarian to do that. So I would encourage you to find a veterinarian in your area that is open to the modality that you're actually using, because you can get the client to go to them, not necessarily to totally change a veterinarian, but actually go to them so that you can get a legal script. I'd also like to encourage you to, if you have some animals that you're treating that have had x-rays and ultrasounds, put that in your records, because if you can put that in the records and then you can get the owner's permission to actually utilize those, I think this is going to help us have some really good cases on the website. They will be able to refer to, because a veterinarian, we have the ability to do what we call off-label. And this is sort of maybe off-label from what they can actually claim, because they haven't done a lot of so-called double-blind studies and so on to be able to do it. As a veterinarian that is holistic, and also I belong to the American Association of Holistic Veterinarians, and they're much more open in terms of this, and we discuss it a lot. Why do we have to wait for all these trials when we can see that we're getting responses, and really good responses? Science is changing. We're in a new era. We're moving towards quantum physics, and the science books haven't caught up with us. But someday we're going to go into the next era. We're still somewhat Newtonian in there. We're in a totally new era in quantum physics, and this is where we are with energy medicine. There's lots of good information. There's a DVD which is called The Living Matrix. It's a fantastic video, but it talks about a lot about holistic medicine and energy medicine. We're all electromagnetic beings, and that's why this kind of technology works so well. I am available if you have a veterinarian that's got some doubt, if they want to talk to another veterinarian, which unfortunately some veterinarians feel they can't talk to anybody unless they're a veterinarian. Acupuncturists have done electroacupuncture for a number of years, but sometimes they can't quite get that meridian cleared. But here we've got this beautiful system that actually you send the whole current through, and you can actually clear all that meridian. So we're in a better position than the acupuncturist. When I did acupuncture, I never did electroacupuncture. And the reason for that is I've seen some and people reported them where they've actually had that turned up too much, and that horse has gone berserk. And that's just too dangerous. We don't do that with this, as you can see. You saw what they were doing with there. We can actually see right away when they are uncomfortable, and we back off a little bit. I mean, it's a very, very small electrical current that's going through there, but we have the ability to actually clear and get the body talking to itself. Electromagnetic beings, from plants to animals to people, we're all communicating, our bodies are communicating electromagnetically the whole time that we're doing it. In the past, people have always thought that it was the nervous system that was actually giving us all the communication. But the bottom line is that the nervous system, and what is known, the speed of the information that can go through the nervous system, it doesn't move fast enough for us to be able to do all the things we do. And if you look at athletes and so on, I mean, I thought of showing a video of one of those agility dogs. If you can imagine how all the different information that's got to go from the brain down to all the different pieces, It's impossible even for the neurological system to be able to communicate that at that speed. The body is speaking electronically and photonically, and there's science behind it that shows that the cells communicate that way. So now you know that what you're doing is really doing something. It would suggest that what this is doing, as he tells you, it goes in and it reads 100 times a second and treats 100 times a second. It's going in and looking at the electropotential on each one of those cells and then going in and correcting them. Because the normal membrane potential on a normal cell is, and that's the difference between the inside and the outside of the cell, which is very important. It should be between minus 70 and 100 millivolts. If it gets down to minus 50, it's a sick cell. If it gets to minus 15, it's probably a cancerous cell. But the thing is that you're correcting that cell and bringing it back to the body's normal state, so homeostasis. The fact you're using different frequencies means that it's like a tuning fork. If you have a tuning fork and you have a bunch of different things that are actually tuned to that frequency or multiples of that frequency, they will harmonize when you hit that tuning fork. The body is starting to harmonize with the information that it's getting. But from my reading, it all makes sense. The science is out there, but it fascinates me. When somebody tells me that it can't work, when I visually and clinically see that these things work, if I can find an explanation that I can give to people that is simple enough without getting terribly complicated so that you can understand it, then that's going to make you feel better about what you do. That's my goal, but also to help you with some of your relationships that you want to develop with veterinarians. So try and find one if they need to talk to me. We're not trained with any of these integrative medicine things in the vet college. There are some veterinary schools that are starting to pick up and do things with acupuncture and some others. Hopefully, at some point, we can go to some of the universities where they will be interested, but it will be slow because, unfortunately, the medical schools and the veterinary schools are bought and paid for by the pharmaceutical company. We don't have to wait for those studies. We already have the tools in our hands. If any of you have any concerns or any questions with regard to how you want to develop a relationship with a veterinarian or anything specific that you have now, I'll try and help you with that. He is on the Texas Veterinary Medical Board and so on. He has said that he's interested in my speaking at the Texas veterinary thing to talk about energy medicine. So I'm going to do it as a global thing first and then maybe get more specific to give it as a science background and then come in with some of the practical stuff. A veterinarian will not take the time that I do to treat animals. It doesn't pay them to, so what they're going to do is get their technicians trained. And you can be a technician for the veterinarians. Their practice is only going to look better when they have something that is going to work. But the lengthy treatments that we have to give, they're up to an hour. Some of them maybe not so long. I'll go as long as I need to, and then if I find one frequency that's working better than the others, I do some osteopathic adjustments and I recognize what's going on in there, and sometimes you need that physical release to get through. And even John will tell you about a horse that Thumper worked on that he kept trying to push it through, and Thumper did his magic. But remember that a chiropractor that is not a veterinarian still has to get the same release that you have to get to work on that horse.
Grew up dreaming of being a cowboy and loving the cowboy way.